What did survival look like?
There's a lot of yelling, a lot of violence, a lot of emotional abuse. You'd never know if you'd just get berated, or my mom and my stepdad would argue to the point of throwing things and violence and all that stuff. I believe that it doesn't require all the violence, but I also know how I feel when I get so angry and I don't know what to do with my anger and rage. I feel violent. Talking about your rage and your anger and being violent and having those feelings and thoughts tends to scare a lot of people. So I've realized that the more that I don't talk about it and the more that I keep it down, the more that I watch it come up in unconscious ways. I have to keep in mind that all of that stuff was creating these body impulses and voices because I wasn't allowed to say anything.
Velvet canvases, vocal tics, domestic chaos, a creative revolution inside an old rail depot. Ryan Rado paints the pain, invites the roast, and proves art therapy can rock a mosh pit vibe. Welcome to Rooted Recovery Stories. I'm Patrick Custer, and if you believe scars can become searchlight beacons, smash subscribe and drop 5 stars, because every rating pushes these stories into another survivor's feed. Welcome to the show, Ryan Rado.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
We just did a great moment of silence, and you said, brought me down to right to center. I'm about to speed it back up for an icebreaker, even though like you and I even need one. But all right, so we're doing 8 quick questions, fun, serious mix, and you're going to answer as fast as possible. Are you ready?
Yep. Wet
acrylic on velvet or teenage bedroom carpet? What's harder to clean?
God. Oh my God. Probably the carpet.
Okay. Tourette's moment that secretly feels like a superpower.
Telling that to someone that I can tell is anxious about something about themselves. As we get talking, I tell them that I have Tourette's and then have a tic, and it just opens the conversation because they get more curious and more. The focus is off of them, and I can handle it. So yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Detroit muscle or Nashville dive bar?
Detroit. God.
Where does your nervous system settle?
Detroit muscle bar, like cars?
Yeah.
Well, man, you turn me around, Nashville dive bar.
Okay.
I can't believe I'm saying that.
Fair enough.
God, yeah.
It's etched in the internet, the history of internet.
Yeah, but it's true.
All right, number 4, biggest myth about Tourette's you wish the internet would delete.
Oh, wow. That's tricky. And I think now that I'm a little older and have been living with it for so long and done a lot of my own work with Tourette syndrome and a comorbid diagnosis, I see a lot of younger people with Tourette's saying, this is not what Tourette's is. Don't do this to people with Tourette's. And I love and appreciate that for them. But now I'm realizing that you can do whatever and say whatever you want about Tourette's, because if it's not said, for me, I don't necessarily know that I would be able to see it. And I want to know more about where my diagnosis comes from, what strikes me and triggers me, how I react to the idea of this diagnosis that feels like an entity with me affects my life. And the more that I shut people out in that way, I notice I miss an opportunity to know more about, number one, what they think and what I think about me. So that's important.
Okay. Number 5, art roast night, therapy or Thunderdome?
Both. Swear.
Okay. Yeah. Number 6, pick a paint color you'd eat if it were gelato.
Red.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've thought about that long.
It's I love it.
All right. Number 7, make it perfect live with 3 emojis.
3 emojis? The shit one comes up. This guy. And then I guess the next one that comes up is just the laugh one, because that feels obligatory. I just crap my pants.
Wait, is it the laugh with the tears?
Well, it's the tilted one with the tears. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
That one. You got to have the extra tilt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how we're totally in that zone of like, that one means something different than
Yeah,
just
it definitely does. Yeah. Which one do you use the most? Do you use the tilt one or the?
Well, if I'm in a hurry, and the first one that comes up in my history is the regular level one.
Yeah.
That's the one I'll use. But pretty much always, if I think something's funny enough to use that face, then that's my go-to emoji. That's the most the emoji I think I use the most.
Got it. Love an emoji.
Yeah. All right, number 8. The last song that hijacked your brush strokes.
I was listening to this band called Hotline TNT. They have a song called, I think it's called Broken Lawnmower off their new record. And I just was painting and I was like, wow, this song is just so beautiful. I love when something strikes me while I'm working like that. It's really good. And Moving Mountains put out a new single called Ghosts, which I think is really beautiful. Yeah. So 2.
Awesome. Okay. I hope you brought your swimsuit because we're diving in hard right now.
Yeah. All right. Let me change positions.
Okay. Paint us a morning in your childhood home. 5 stepdads, Tourette's tics, 1990s Michigan. What did survival look like before breakfast?
You know, there were 2 stepdads at that point, and when I was a kid growing up, excuse me, and my mom was super intense when I was a kid, and there was a lot of yelling, a lot of violence, a lot of emotional abuse. It's hard for me to say that. Like I'm not. I don't want to talk bad about my mom, but that's just the truth. And I had a little sister, and I still have a little sister. Some mornings you'd never know if you'd just get berated, or my mom and my stepdad would argue to the point of throwing things and violence and all that stuff. And
does looking back from what you know now, was it stuff from their past that caused them to anger and rage? Was there chemical stuff going on,
probably.
Undiagnosed mental health? Okay.
Yeah, probably. I think they just didn't have any tools to even know what to do with their shame, their anger, their their sadness, their grief. I know my mom has a ton of grief every time I talk to her, which isn't often. I can feel it. And I know that was I siphoned that, and she's always ready to cry about something so fast, and I am too. I'll cry very fast, and I know that I have a lot of grief that I'm still working through from my childhood.
So when you say you talk to your mom and she has a lot of grief, are you referring to, because there are a lot of us that are emotionally sensitive and cry easily. Yeah. I would argue that doesn't necessarily mean that we're in a stage of grief. But what I'm curious about is so if you're describing your mom still in grief, are you referring to things from back then? And if that's the case, is she bouncing between all those stages of grief and just hasn't been able to fully do all of them? Or what do you think is going on there? Or is there one that she just lives at?
I think shame. I think that's the one. And I think she just had a rough go growing up. And I don't think she was ever afforded the nurturing when she was a kid to get to know herself. And from what I can tell, a man's presence helped her be able to know herself, because she changed when she would get with these different men. She would start liking what they like and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, so she had a lack of identity, and she would find it would be like something to ground her, because she was so ungrounded. Yep. I can identify with that in different ways, not from people, but like we do that with,
I do that still. I notice myself. If someone has something that I know is inside of me, and I interact with them a lot, I notice that I'll start entertaining the thoughts they have and what they've said, and can I apply this to my life? And a lot of it's unconscious, but I've gleaned a lot from a lot of people because of that, because I know everything is inside all of us, you know? So I think that's such a beautiful thing to be conscious of.
For sure. So we talked about what kind of was going on during that time during breakfast, but what did survival look like?
Oh, yeah. Get the fuck out. Get out of the way. Excuse me, man, I have some tics when I think about this. A lot of rage would be directed toward my mom, and then she would direct it. She would take that rage and funnel it toward me, so she didn't have to absorb all of it. She absorbed a lot of it. And she's kind of a provocateur. She'll say the thing that just gets you under your skin so much. But I don't necessarily know if it just didn't require all the violence. And I put that really softly. I believe that it doesn't require all the violence, but I also know how I feel when I get so angry and I don't know what to do with my anger and rage. I feel violent. And sometimes I go paint, I'll throw something, or I remember.
Of course you feel violent.
Yeah.
Anger is full of energy.
Yeah, totally.
And if you haven't, like, oh my gosh, if at a young age, I mean, you know, there's so many of us that are still working through our stuff from childhood. And even though it's a lifelong thing, like it still comes up. Hell, I driving home to my childhood home, things that I've worked all the way through, come back and are like, hey, bitch, I'm still here. I didn't go away.
I'm just dancing back here, calling you, every name you can think of.
Yep. And so, I mean, like, you know, no shade on that, you know?
No, I don't feel shade. I don't feel shade. I actually kind of revel in the fact that, because as a man, it's really talking about your rage and your anger and being violent and having those feelings and thoughts. It tends to scare a lot of people. So I've realized that the more that I don't talk about it and the more that I keep it down, the more that I watch it come up in unconscious ways. So it's like, it sounds pretty obvious. But
remember when we were kids, and did you swim a lot as a kid?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When we would try and do the thing where you like keep either the beach ball or the kickboard under the water as long as possible. Keep coming up. And like pop up and pop somebody in the jaw.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Yeah. Big time.
That's it. Yeah. I didn't come up with that metaphor. Somebody else did. And I love it because it's like, and it has stuck in my head so hard. So you're setting the stage for what clearly, I mean, how could you not? Now I know a lot about your story, so, but it just like so much makes sense to me, you know, that a lot of healing intervention was going to need to take place for future Ryan Rado as you're describing this, but you're also describing so many people's childhood now.
I bet. It's crazy to think about that. I would never do anything that was put on me to my son. Like I can't even fathom it. Like I rarely raise my voice to my son. I never get violent with him or physical, anything like that. Do I get so goddamn frustrated and pissed and angry at him? God, man, it's like, it's that beach ball. But then I look at him, and as Gabor Mate says, bring him closer, you know? You don't have to kick him out. I'm speaking for myself when I was a kid, like, but I don't think I didn't want to be closer in that situation. But underneath it all, that's what I really needed, was to be so close to my mom, you know? But she didn't have the capacity.
You wanted to be close to the mom that wasn't about to
straight up
explode.
Yeah.
Which you knew deep down that wasn't the essence of who she was.
Right. Yeah. I see it now. I see that she wants to live a peaceful life, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that's what I am of the school of thought that we're all inherently good. And granted, I understand that there are children that experience such tragedies and traumas as young children that it's not, that interferes with their ability to see or trust that there's an inherent good. But I think that absent of that, this is just my own personal belief. I think absent of that, children tend to just believe that we all have that goodness inside of us. We actually do see that what's happening, I think, is the manifestation of whatever. We don't know why, but like, it's not the, you know. So how did that environment script your earliest definition of love?
Codependence. And if you're okay, I'm okay. I think it's a...
okay, so take me there.
Yeah.
If you're okay, I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get what you mean, because I always joke that I have my PhD in codependency. So, but
That's pretty good.
But
Excuse me.
If you're okay, I'm okay. But what did that actually mean, living that out?
Yeah. If my mom was happy, I was happy. And
how did you know if she was happy, and what would you do to ensure that that was the case?
What I confused with happiness was attention. So if she was giving me attention in a way that she was smiling, she was excited about something, it was about something exterior for her happening, then I would experience her happiness because of the validation she was getting from somewhere, something, or someone. So I confused happiness with validation, because I've noticed that in my life. Like if I get, and this is natural, but if I get validation in a certain way, I'll get so high off of it that I'll start creating these fantasies and these scenarios that could be real, but I will live in these fantasies as if they are real to keep myself from having a more rational look at the relationship that I'm having with the thing, the event, the person, all that stuff. So that's it. My fantasy life is pretty robust, but yeah.
So you get positive feedback and you take that to the...
even negative.
Negative?
Yeah. Just feedback. Yeah.
And you take it to the what if, like the next what
Always,
if.
yeah.
And that you're operating from that instead of... Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never heard somebody describe it like that, but I wonder, like, I'm going to have to piece that apart, because I wonder how much I might do that too. But
sure. Easy to do.
Yeah.
And it's so ingrained in me to do that. I didn't realize it until I started looking up what limerence is.
Is that basically
they call it that? Yeah. And it's with, they describe it as with people, but you can do it with anything. You can have a limerence from a certain time, like nostalgia, this event that you went to or that I went to, and thinking that I'm going to be the next star of this random event or the most popular person at a party and stuff like that. You know, it's a thought tick that brings me into this landscape where I can fantasize. Because when I was a kid, there was so much unrest and violence and all that stuff I talked about that I had to have a protective mechanism or a place to go to feel somewhat safe, whole, and myself that was forming. So I could put that around myself as like a force field, in a way, a metaphorical force field.
Okay. So you said that, I understand how you're describing that now as an adult. That started as a child too. You mirrored, like you learned from your mom because you saw her do that, and then you were doing that. What did that look like as a kid? Because I'm thinking about, like, again, go to a party, you see somebody get an award, and it's an annual thing, so you're like, I'm gonna win that next year, you know, or whatever. As a kid, how does that manifest for you in scenarios that you know that stick out in your memory?
I was always I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, and I would always get lost in. I'm a romantic artist, a romantic painter, and I would always get lost in these really fluffy, soft, romantic fantasies of being connected with a female presence, which is my mom, but one that I could actually connect with and be safe with and be connected with, you know? So when I was a kid, I was always thinking about that. And when I say kid, I'm talking about middle school, high school, you know? And because I watched my mom pine over these men that she had this love for, and she would play this sad music every night, always talking to me about these men. I'm like, yo, that's not my job to hear you talk about these men you love. I'm a kid, you know? So she would just sit there and cry and say how much she missed them. And that man, that gives me like that shot of anxiety of like,
men that had relationships that are ended or
long distance, or the sadness that comes from being in a relationship with someone who's incredibly abusive and not knowing what to do. I mean, that's a very sad thing, but it's like,
so she would reflect on past, or like on what, who was either gone or inaccessible
or current and not there, inaccessible. Yeah.
And also use you as a, like you would tend to do with a friend or a partner or what have you, like basically like talking through scenarios to figure out what to do or how to feel about it, or what? Maybe
not feel, just to kind of, I don't want to use the word dump all of the sad feelings she was having. Like I was her adult friend, but I was her child. Yeah. But not what to do or anything. Just her sadness was really, really infiltrating on me.
Do you feel like the curtain that was pulled back for you was too much?
Yeah. That's not it as a child. That's not her romantic interest. Isn't the child's responsibility at all. And so I was like, I had to grow up emotionally very fast.
What did you think about it at the time? Did you have an awareness?
Oh, I was honored. I was honored because I was getting attention. I was honored to hear this and be the one that helped her feel better.
Did this come after?
If she's okay, I'm okay.
Did this come after the periods of explosion and things like that?
It was
early.
The part that I'm thinking of in my mind is after that.
Yeah.
She was married to my stepdad for 11 years, from when I was like 4 or 5 to 15, 16. So then a lot of violence, a lot of, I mean, I don't know if infidelity was in there. I don't know. But after that was a really, really interesting time. And you know, she would, it was just weird to have my high school bully. She married his dad.
That's interesting that you bring that up.
It was crazy to me. Shit,
you just led into my
You got one of those?
Question. Yeah. No, I don't. I was homeschooled. My high school bully was my sister.
I forgot you said that. Yeah. That's good. Let me sip of this water.
Yeah. Okay. So bullying met neurological fireworks in grade school. What belief about your body took root then?
Oh, wow. My body? Mm-hmm. I was chubby. I still deal with this. Like I'm still chubby. Like I'm still like a chunky guy. And I weighed 260 pounds at one point when I was like 19 to 29 maybe, and lost a bunch of weight real fast. But I still have that body. I didn't realize that I do have body dysmorphia. I didn't realize that. I was always like, I thought that was just for like females.
Yeah.
And I realized, wow, I really, really think that I look a different way than I do. And so I always thought I was gross, like just disgusting, and get away from me. I just felt like I was like just yucky.
Do you know that because I don't think you and I talked about this when when I came and did your show, but I have body dysmorphia. I've had I don't know when it started, but I had a pretty chunky phase as a youngster, and that's probably when it started.
Yeah, got it. Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
And
nice.
Yeah, so when you become aware that something's different, and you don't like,
big time,
you don't feel like you're what you're supposed to be, and so, where was I going with that? Oh, okay. So I didn't even know the term body dysmorphia until after I had had an eating disorder in early 20s. I don't even remember when I learned it, but here's the thing. When I found out as an adult, the term body dysmorphia, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, definitely I had that.
Trying to get this.
Then I found out I have that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But also there was shame associated with that, because even without someone describing who struggles with it, I automatically went to that. Well, that sounds like a female thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't out yet either at this time.
Gotcha.
And so automatically I was like, oh, it can't be me. And then, come some years into me, coming out of the closet and I guess starting to accept things, as the layers of the onion peel away and what have you. And I'm like, this makes sense. And yes, almost every gay man, or a huge faction of gay men, struggle with body dysmorphia, because we won't go down that rabbit hole, but there's just a lot of, because of our own stuff, we make up for things with perfectionism and whatever, So there's a tendency for people to easily look at body dysmorphia as being like a feminine leaning thing.
Yeah, right.
So like gay guys or feminine people in general. And what I'm really appreciating you say as a cisgender straight male sitting across from me, that you're opening up about this, because I know that the numbers of people in general, especially cis straight men, are so much higher than what anyone would assume.
We're taught that it's not a thing.
It's not a thing.
And that if you talk about that, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Buck up. It's bullshit. And the more that I see a masking, stoic, ultra alpha masculine man, the more it's there.
Yeah.
And the more it's underground. And how you could, how whole would you be talking to about these types of men? How whole would you be to let in something that's already there, an aspect of feminine qualities that you have by design? How much more whole would you be? It blows my mind.
Well, think about it. Okay, let's go back to the pool. You're trying to hold down the kickboard or the beach ball.
Yep.
And so like every time we're talking about masking, meaning like what we do in public, how other people see us. So every time we're going,
I don't mask, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I know, I get that. But like
that might be my mask.
But I'm thinking about for the people who have yet to embrace this and or just let it be the vulnerability that it is. So you go out into public and you're holding down the beach ball, because you're talking about when you describe that like super ultra alpha male type, right? Like that's immediately where you go. And I'm like, how many kickboards are you holding under the water? And then when you get to an environment that's safe enough for you to let loose, now that doesn't mean they're getting vulnerable when they're in the environment that's safe enough to let loose. It's coming out in ways that's probably not even honest, but whatever it is coming out. What gets to happen when we finally embrace and just get to be who we are? Let all the kickboards and beach balls come to the surface and have a freaking pool party.
Yeah. It sounds great. Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, when we're like masking, most of the time, we have all these people that should be here at the pool party. You're not letting them in the pool. They're standing around the pool, and from their perspective, they can actually see through the water and see that you're holding a bunch of shit down there underneath. Yeah, totally. So like, it's just awkward for everybody. So anyway, now that I've I love a good metaphor. So, all right, so back to your body dysmorphia. Yeah, this came out.
Bring it on back. Yeah.
This came out in middle school.
Excuse me.
Did you know at the time?
No,
you just knew that you were you felt that way.
I felt just disgusting. And I know a lot. I'm sure a lot of middle schoolers and high schoolers feel who are you at that point? You're kind of disgusting, you know? It's like you're kind of gross in high school and middle school, you know? It's just the way it goes. But I think it was like the overemphasis of you're fat, you know? Or like I was overweight. I just was, you know? And then also, you know, add the Tourette syndrome aspect on it and ADHD or all that stuff. That affects, I mean, that's a big body thing too, yeah.
This is one thing I'm not educated on. Does Tourette's manifest always from the earliest stages of life, or can it start later?
Well, I guess it depends on what you are defining as early. Mine showed up between 5 and 7. So, oh, wow. And that was a time my mom and my dad got divorced, and my mom remarried my stepdad. And there was also a lot of mold growing in the house that I was in Michigan. And really? I used to have really high fevers, and I would have hallucinations when I was a kid, like 3-4 years old. Like I can feel them and remember them happening. It's crazy. It was terrifying. And my mom would put me in the bath, like cold bath, and try to wake me up and stuff. I thought she was trying to kill me when I was 42. I'm like, were you trying to, like, thinking to myself, was she trying to kill me? But I think that was just a way to process my stuff with her.
Wait,
which she was not trying to kill me.
I know, but reflecting, you're thinking that. But at the time, as a kid, you thought, did you think that as well? Like when you were 4 and 5,
she was trying to kill me?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh,
I don't think so. It was just super terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the stepdad came in, and there was a lot of violence, and he and I are cool now. Like it's remarkable that we are cool now. And
well, healing is remarkable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So take me through Tourette's showing up. I just realized, I think that you are, if I've had somebody on the show that has Tourette's, it hasn't come up as part of their story. So this is, I always get excited.
Yeah,
when
I'll tell you all about it. Yeah.
We've talked to so many people. And so you're the first. I'd love to hear about what that experience is like when it pops up. Had it pop up? How did you notice it? Or did somebody else?
Somebody else did. It was my stepdad. Talking about Tourette's gets Tourette's going. Yeah. So you're going to see a bunch of tics. You might see a middle finger. I'll probably lick this microphone. I'll do this a bunch. I'll move around. So you get to see what's going on. And
if you feel okay or need to take a break.
No, I live with this shit every day. But thank you. You know, I appreciate that. That feels good to hear. So I remember being at the dinner table when I was a kid. I can see it, and I would have a tic. Yeah, and it was a lot higher then. And my stepdad at the time we didn't know anything about it. You know, found out my dad had it.
Really?
And he did. Yeah, he did. And my uncle on my mom's side had a lot of tics too. I don't know if he was ever diagnosed, but so it was in there, you know, in the stew. So I would have that tic, and he would just say, you know, is there a mouse in here? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you making that noise? You know, and I was like, I had no clue. So I can hear him saying that, and I can feel the shame because I just didn't know why I was doing it. I had no clue, and I was shaking my head. I'd shake my head a lot, and then you add that into like elementary school and middle school, and you get really rocked.
Do you feel like he knew what was happening, and instead of addressing it,
I don't think so.
He was trying
I don't think so. I want to give him that. I think they were both, they saw it on Oprah years later, and they're like, what in the world?
So you think he really thought that there was a mouse in the...
Oh, no, he was making fun of me. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
He didn't know what to do with it.
So, right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm trying to think about how, like, as an adult, if you see something different start to happen as a kid, in a kid, you know the difference between how, I mean, like, I used to make dumb noises and whatever.
Go ahead,
That's the best. But yeah, I mean, like, I think back to like all the stuff that like runs through a kid's head, the intrusive thoughts kids have, and there's no filter in between I love it. But But as a parent, I think that know when something goes
off.
different, is off, and it is when it's repetitive enough, when it's whatever, and it's following a pattern. You may not know what it is, but there's something in you that knows that this is not what it should be.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, no joke.
As a kid, how did it feel to have a primary caregiver instead of asking you, hey, what's going on? Like making comments that
I can only think about it now, and because when I was in that water and I lived in that water, so that was just the water I was swimming in that familial water, so I didn't know it was.
Would you black out when it would happen, or would you be fully aware, like, and telling yourself, don't do this, stop doing this, but like you couldn't, it was just taking over?
Yeah. And sometimes I'm suppressing now, and I think that's a part of a mask. But I'm not going to go out into the world and just have tics all the time. Yeah, I'm just not going to do that. You know. And God bless Balin Dupree. She's just have you seen her? Mm-mm. She's has a TLC show called Bailin' Out Loud, and she is getting rocked by Tourette syndrome, and she lets it fly. Like it's unbelievable. My heart goes out to her. I'm glad she's turning it into something that is helping her in a way.
I'm going to check that out.
I should. Yeah. She's awesome. Anyway.
So, okay. This is happening with stepdad. He's the one who first points it out. Then what happens?
Years go by, and there was a lot of really, really violent shit happening. Like, I have to keep in mind that all of that stuff was creating these body impulses and voices because I wasn't allowed to say anything. And I know that anything that happened, any decision made when I was a kid, we were not considered. It was just like, we're doing this. And my mom would, she would put us in situations as kids we didn't need to be in. Mm-hmm. And my dad would do the same thing too. And we were not considered of how it would affect us. Maybe on a topical level, and maybe my mom knew it, but we didn't have any kind of say, and we weren't heard. So my body started erupting because
when you say if you're not comfortable sharing this, that's fine too. Mm-hmm. Please just tell me. But I'm curious what you mean. You've shared about like the situations that she would put you in, talking to you as a youngster about her romantic life. But when you say put into situations that you shouldn't be in and you couldn't talk about,
I'm talking about violent people living in our house. And like, I remember one time there was a argument that started with them down in the kitchen. And I heard, I could just hear her screaming and crashing and slamming up against the wall. And I would come down and look at the stairs because I could see into the kitchen. And I remember seeing my stepdad just smash a box of crackers. And then the next memory I have is all of us having an egg fight at night in our house, trying to keep him away, throwing eggs at him, trying to keep him out, running from him around the house. And it was ruthless. And I got snapped with a towel in my back all the time, like a wet towel on the end. It just snapped like a
that.
Animal.
Yeah, that's no
sucked. Yeah. Titty twisters. Like now hear me out. He and I have reconciled in a way that is a miracle. Mm-hmm. And I do want to, that's important for me to say, because he was a monster. And I see the softness in him now. And I see how afraid he is now. And he was afraid the whole time. And my mom was pretty gnarly too. That's the onion that is hard for me to peel, is my mom. That's the hardest one.
And just for you, and then also for our audience, I want to just address that anytime we talk about like family trauma, damaging relationships and the harm that was caused through, in early years, the purpose of it is not to demonize anybody who we're talking about. the purpose is to unravel what happened and how it affected you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I hope that everyone listening can take that, or watching, can take that with the perspective. And I think that you are speaking about this from an informed place and knowing that the power of sharing the hurt and the pain that's caused is what provides, is what we're telling a story that's an arc. We're not just going to end with how horrible you're, you know?
Right.
And,
and there's that voice in me that's like, you shouldn't be talking about your,
well, and
you,
that's
you know
the
what
other
I'm
part. I'm
like,
glad that you're bringing that up, because how many people that haven't even experienced healing yet have that voice that says you shouldn't bring it up.
Yeah, right.
They don't know why you shouldn't bring it up, but either for fear of safety or because you want to believe the best out of them, and you think they didn't mean it, you know, all these things. The fact of the matter is, if it happened to you, it is yours.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I'm not saying anything. I'm not embellishing.
Yeah.
And I'm not being dramatic, and that was a big thing. I'm telling the story, and I have my whole life I've been telling this story. I'm telling the story of the events that happened to me in my life with my family, you know, that I remember vividly, and have, like everyone, has created the me that I think is me. Now, how much of me can I observe at one time? Who knows? But I'm really interested in seeing how.
You know what I think about that?
Yeah, tell me.
I think you can observe just as much as your mind and emotions are meant to be able to handle in the moment. A given moment.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And how much more is there?
Yeah.
Know? So that's what I want. I want to know how much more of me is there, and how much more of the brighter stuff is there, because I'm so good at knowing the darker, hellish stuff. And there's a part of me as an artist that feels responsible to hold that. Do I want to? Not really. But when I make my work, a lot of times it's a little gruesome and playful, violent. It's not pretty, you know? And so but now in my life, all the good things that I've heard about myself from people, I've fluffed off and just been like, I've been super like, it's not a humility. It's I can't believe you would see me like that. The light that you're casting on me is burning me. So now I'm trying to pay attention to when someone says something good about me, and everyone can do this. When someone says something good about you, maybe they're not bullshitting you. Maybe they're actually telling you something that they see that you may not believe about yourself. And I'm realizing, I'm taking a step to believe it.
So let me challenge you on that too for a second. Because I don't even think that you necessarily believe that the people are bullshitting you. I think that we all relate into this realm of what we actually think so much of the time is that they're being serious, but if they only knew the truth.
That too.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't really, like, you're saying it, but I don't really deserve it, or I didn't earn it, or if I accept it and act any sort of whatever, then I'm prideful, full of ego.
You got your ass gaslit. You know what I'm saying? You got gaslit hard. You know, you have no integrity if you act a different way. Fuck that. Everything is in everybody. Everything is in everybody. I was downtown talking major bullshit with these people last night on Make It Perfect. Major bullshit. And
when you say that, what do you mean?
I mean, just talking about this girl that came up in Painted. She started talking about porn. And I asked her, I'm like, what kind of porn do you watch? If I was in the Christian world that I grew up in, I would never even fathom even talking about that publicly. I've edited and if people that know me think I don't edit, but I've edited and masked that part of myself that loves to fuck around, have fun, and be crass. I am that person all the time. And I can also talk about the most heartfelt, vulnerable, true story of where I felt incredibly connected to myself, to God, and to people in a way that brings so much truth. I can do both of them. And I realized that the more that I oscillate, the crazier I feel. And the more I hide myself, because I'm a really crass person when I talk. And I love that part of me because it just tickles my ass. I'm just like, it just does. Because I watch all these comedians being crass and I'm like, God, why do I love that? Because it's there for me. And I also love when I hear Gabor Mate talk about bringing your child closer when they're having a hard time rather than pushing them away.
Yeah.
Like all of it is there. And I want to embody all of it. All of it. All of it. Like that feels so good to say.
Yeah.
Because we just parse ourselves out all the time. And whether that makes me, there's a part of me that's like, well, you want to succeed in what you're doing. That part's going to make you undesirable to a certain amount of people. But the more that I'm able to incorporate parts and domains and dimension of my personality into my waking life, the happier I'm going to be.
I think that's one thing that I've been learning more and more of. Like, we were raised in a society that like the pop culture of it all was like, you're only acceptable when you're polished, when you're this,
Sure.
when you're that,
Yeah.
when you're whatever. And the truth is, especially now, when in the information age where we've got podcasts, like anybody can do a show if you want to, I mean, they might not all be on the same, but like you can get a YouTube for free. You can do it, and I think when we start embracing that, like the right people, we get connected.
Yeah.
When we start showing up, the more authentic we are and the less we try and like, the more the right audience is, the right people are
and you
connect
see it
with
happening,
us.
and it's so beautiful to watch.
Yeah.
Not all of the doubt, but some of the doubt goes away of, well, shit, I think a path might be forming, and I'm already on the path. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's so neat when I can just let go of all that.
Okay, so I do want to get to the solution because I want to dive in really a lot on that. But I want to lean in a little bit more to what you went through leading up through adulthood before you started healing. And so in the bullying, clearly you had an adult bully in your household. What was happening in school?
Yeah, I was just thinking about this yesterday, I started going to a new school. I don't really remember much bullying happen up until fourth grade is when it started. And I went to a new school, and I've always just wanted people to like me, and tried. Why? Yeah, and tried to get them to like me by trying, a lot. And but I realized that not doing that is sometimes the way to go, but in fourth grade, you're trying to, who knows who you are in fourth grade. So I remember this kid said that I lost his football or something, and but I didn't lose his football, and he wanted me to pay for it. And he and his buddies would threaten to beat me up in fourth grade if I didn't bring money for him. So I had to figure out, without telling my parents, how I was going to get money to pay off this bully to not beat me up. And I remember walking to school one day like he was my authority and being like, hey, dude, look what I got. $2. Maybe you'll like me now. Maybe you won't beat me up. And so I was living with a bully, so I didn't know how to stand up to a bully. And the bully I was living with was telling me to stand up to bullies. I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? So it's like, so that, and then just getting made fun of as far, mimicking and mocking tics and stuff, which, when I hear, this is a hot take. When I meet someone with pronounced tics and Tourette syndrome, I'm like, Jesus, chill the fuck out. calm down. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, God, this fucking chill out. You know, it's too much, you know? So I definitely realize that's in me when I meet someone with Tourette's. I'm like, I'm the only one with Tourette's here, man. I don't know what you got going on. You know, it's pretty ridiculous, but it just makes me laugh a little bit. But I, you know, and being chunky and all this stuff. And, I was always trying to be a jock. I love sports, and I wanted to hang with these dudes that were jocks, I guess, you know. And now that I'm saying this stuff, I realize that almost every high schooler and middle schooler goes through bullying and shittiness and all that stuff. So it has less of an effect on me now when I talk about it. And yeah, just being a sensitive person, it really gets in there. You know what I'm saying? So I've worked a lot on the rejection sensitivity dysphoria. Are you familiar with that? A lot of ADHD people have that.
Wait, I sorry, I had to think about it for a second because I just learned that term. I interviewed somebody who, when this airs, we're going to be on our other show. We're all of August. She's an autism and ADHD specialist. Anyway, cool. Learned from her that term, but remind me, because there were a lot of terms I learned. And
yeah, it's hard to keep them all. Rejection sensitivity dysphoria, from what I know now, is people that have this experience even the slightest body change, but like body disposition change, can experience that as a rejection, because they grew up with not knowing that they could trust and depend on in certain ways their caregivers, and had to read their emotional state. If they could get if the child could get what they need, they really had to make sure that the parent was okay before they could get what they need. So if the parent was, and this is the way that I understand it, like I said. So if there was inconsistencies in the mood and the personality of the parent, that child would have to be on high alert. And so depending on if they asked the parent for something or just expected care, if it changed quite a bit, that would dramatically affect how the child looked at feeling accepted. So now I've realized that a simple text, and I know a lot of people deal with this, but a simple text message that is either that I will confuse as like someone just telling me information, I'll be like, well, God, why are they being so curt? Why are they not hearing this? Or why are they not responding to this little portion of this? And then it for a long time, it would just wreck me, and I'd ruminate on it. Or even a rejection at a Starbucks or something from a barista or something, you know? And so the more that I learn about that, the more that I'm able to like wait and realize that it isn't going down that way. And if it is, I can speak to it. Yeah. You know? So yeah, that's where I'm at with that right now.
Interesting.
As a 48-year-old man, realizing that, it makes me laugh.
As like, I'm not disassociating. I'm literally thinking about how this shows up in my life. Yeah, cool. So okay. Now you see me look off into the distance. I'm like, oh, okay, let me match this up. Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But so the bullying continues. Yep. The rejection sensitivity dysphoria. Did I say that right? Yeah. What transpired next in your life that was a significant shift?
Oh yeah. Hearing the Smashing Pumpkins when I was in high school. I played sports up until then, and then I heard Siamese Dream, and 2 weeks later I quit playing football. I quit every sport, and I was like, this is what I want. This is how I want to feel. It shifted I can't even believe it when I think about it. That record alone shifted how I looked at the world. Wow. I looked at it. I was able to get back to when I was younger, drawing and feeling more of an artistic bend toward the world. So that really brought me into a more full place, and I could retreat into this really deep, thoughtful heavy, beautiful artwork. And then from then on, it was just music, and then it turned into painting. And so, yeah, it's crazy that I identify that. That's cool to me.
That is really cool. This podcast is brought to you by Promises Behavioral Health. If you or a loved one are struggling with trauma, addiction, or mental health, we are ready to answer your questions and help you take that next step. Call our admissions center at 888-648-4098 or visit us online at www.promises.com. Our team is ready and waiting to answer the call for help. So you've named validation seeking and love/fantasy addiction among your scars, which we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah.
The love addiction and fantasy. Yeah. Well, we talked about fantasy a little bit.
Excuse me.
Where did those first show up in your adult relationships?
Like again, they're codependents. If I didn't have an idea of what was okay with me and what was not okay with me. If I was getting attention, then it was okay, whether it was negative or positive, or even like that back and forth of like no attention and then getting a lot of attention. So it's like if I was getting some kind of attention, this is a trip to talk about. This really gets me going here.
Yeah.
This tick says to me, be careful of what you say. Don't reject me. What else does that tick say? That tick says, how dare you ask me that? That's what this tick is saying. And we're going somewhere, so this is good.
Yeah.
That tick is also saying, don't hurt me. So I've done a lot of work of realizing what these ticks are saying as they're happening.
That's amazing to me. Because I hope this doesn't sound insensitive to say, but like just in my journey in life and seeing how beautifully different we all are, the fact that you have something that comes across visually that can show you something about where you're going. Like, I recognize and see the suffering that it's caused you, but I also see and know the healing that you've gone through and how you've embraced what it is today.
Yeah.
And so just as that happened, knowing the vulnerable space that we're in and how you could just communicate in that moment, this is what's happening. This is what it's telling me, like that like sent chills down my spine.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. And sometimes I don't know how to respond to that,
That's okay. You know what?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was for me to share, to say to you. So
that means a lot to me because it's taken a lot of work, and the fact that somebody can recognize that is a really heartfelt thing. So thank you.
Absolutely. So you are safe.
Yes, I feel safe. I do.
If we were to dive into, you said, the codependency, all of that.
How does it show up now? I notice I want attention from, scary to say this because I'm talking about a personality that is mostly stoic and doesn't if a person is mostly has a stoic extreme stoic front, is very guarded, and is never shows that something affects them in any way, that's the person that I find myself wanting attention from. Now, here's this.
Well, when you say that,
Yeah.
tell me how, because I know the answer to this, but tell me how you would describe that person, like in a scenario where you're talking to them. What feedback are you getting that tells you, or feedback that you're either receiving or you're not receiving that you should be, or you think you should
or
be?
I want to?
Yeah, that's putting them in this category.
Yeah, that's good.
What does that look like?
It is dismissal. It is condescension. Is that a word? Condescension?
I think so.
Being condescending.
Yeah.
Browbeating. Non-responsive.
I was going to say, so you started off with some of the more, or let's say the less passive, more aggressive versions of this. And the one that I really relate to that you and I have talked about in the past is the non-responsive, or the, and this is the part of, some of the classically trained therapists. Is it the Freudian? I can't remember what theorist this is that this is from, but it's the school of thought of like, you're to be a solid object or whatever, like a reflection for the client.
Oh yeah.
And they don't emote, like it's very
That's Freud.
mellow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Freud. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but there are people like that have very flat affect, and you talk to them and they're just very,
Yeah.
You could give them big news, exciting news, sad news, upsetting news, whatever, and the range of emotions that they express are very almost unmoved.
Right. Yeah. I think it goes with the dismissal and the condescending attitude.
Okay.
That is more of that's the bigger chunks of this to me. Arrogance. It's like a magnet and kryptonite at the same time. Because I want to jump in there and peel it open. And I thought for a long time, I want your approval. Part of that's there, but also let's see what's in there.
Does that show up more the same or less, like romantic versus social relationship, or like non-romantic
That's more social. That's more
Really?
social,
Okay.
yeah. And as far as romantic relationships, a push-pull starts to happen. Like if I am feeling destabilized, emotionally destabilized, and I start projecting onto my partner, I'll push them so far and then I'll just stonewall and act so hurt. But I notice that I'm really good at pushing. And then when they react, I play the victim.
Wait, can I ask you,
Yeah.
does the pushing start because of something, or does it start just because of, is it because of your dysregulation? Not necessarily. It could be anything.
It can start from something, but oftentimes it starts with me not saying what I feel like I need to say. And then I notice resentment building.
Yeah.
And I notice that I start looking at them like my enemy. I start looking at them like they're trying to get one over on me. So I'll poke and prod and be a dick and then stonewall. And then I lure their affection out of them. And once I gain their affection, then I have this upper hand and control.
Or at least the illusion.
Or the illusion of it, which is real dirty. It's real dirty, but it's like it's a survival skill, and it's a using vulnerability in that way as a weapon. And so, but here's the thing: I love that part of myself that I can do that I can have the awareness to act in such a snake-like way to get what I want. That sounds so not pretty.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, do I want to live like that? No, not at all. Because it makes me feel gross.
Do you think that you've identified that it is, you put that descriptor on it, that it's a snake-like way, but like
it's seductive. It's seductive.
Right.
Yeah,
at its core, it really just traces back to you're succeeding at winning love because you were taught that you had to earn it. You didn't just deserve it from the jump.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah, definitely.
So when looked at through that lens, it doesn't look snaky to me. Now,
thank you.
Yeah,
like, that's good. That is.
Does it manifest
I see what you mean.
snaky as the consequence plays out towards the other person? Sure.
Yeah.
But like, just like everything, I think that we have to take a 360 view, and the manifestation isn't like, I mean, hell, I didn't drink for however many years to the point of almost dying just because alcohol is alcohol. You know, there's a lot underneath that.
Right.
And if all you did was look at how much I drank and the destruction I caused, you would be looking at 10% of the picture.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
And so that's where I think that, you know,
let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
How does that, when you hear me speak like that about myself in a snake, like that I can be snaky in that way, and that comes across as snaky, how does that make you feel to hear me speaking about myself in that way?
Well, I feel like that's the narrative. So you've gotten to a point where you clearly, because I know you've been doing so much work on yourself. With work, internal work, comes insight that we didn't have before. And when you have that insight to see our past, current behaviors, comes always a judgment.
So it feels like a judgment. That's how it comes across.
Yeah.
A judgment.
Once we have a judgment, then we have a narrative.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So,
that's good.
And your narrative gets to be your own, and it's where you are.
Right.
Sometimes that narrative changes. And so that's what I was just going to say and challenge is that, you know, could that narrative really actually just be one that you tell yourself it's this thing, and yes, it manifests a certain way. Could it change? Yes.
Yeah.
Has it been what you're describing?
Right.
Yes. Does it apply to say that it's snaky behavior? Sure. But at its core, what is it really when we're you know what I mean?
Totally. Yep.
And so
it's an effort to get my needs met.
Yeah.
Without asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to minimize any collateral damage that any of us have ever done to get our needs met, to whatever, you know, we have to own our stuff and have accountability.
Right.
But trauma, like this is the result of trauma.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
If we don't talk about it, stuff just perpetuates.
That just happens without any awareness of it. It just keeps happening. You're like, why is this always ending up like this? Just said it.
So
where are we going, Patrick?
Have you found healthy ways to get your needs met?
Yeah, for sure.
What are those?
Saying what I feel and allowing the other person to say what they feel without feeling like I have to become everything of their frustration. I become everything they're saying about how they feel. I'm realizing that it doesn't necessarily mean that I am that narrative of what they're saying. Ooh. Just listening to them and allowing them a moment to say what they need to say and hearing what they're saying, asking them questions about what they're saying. Now, when I'm lit up, it's not as oh, I'm going to hear what they're saying. It's like when I'm lit up, there's a guard and I don't want to hear what they're saying. And if I hear what they're saying, I'll start refuting it.
When we're lit up, it's not the time to sit down and say, hey, let's talk about what we've got.
Yeah, but I want to every time. I'm like, if it's happening, we want to do it right now.
You're the button pusher. Yeah. It has to be now.
Sometimes, like I can talk about it in the moment, but I'm realizing if I talk about it when I'm hot, the deeper work is not getting done. That is a defense mechanism to talk about it now. I don't want to sit in the waiting of not knowing, the waiting of letting things cool down, the waiting of just being so goddamn mad that I have to leave this situation to calm down. But I know that it's just going to well up and well up and well up. So let's handle it now. Because
now hold on. Yeah. Have you practiced that of pausing and waiting.
I've gotten way better at it.
What actually happened? So like you just told me what the story you tell yourself in your head is going to happen if you pause and wait. What actually happens when you pause and wait?
When I pause, are you talking about like pausing for like
whatever
half an hour? Or are you talking about in the moment?
Yeah, it could be 5 minutes. It could be half an hour. For some of us, it needs to be. My partner and I have a thing where if stuff comes up at night, we wait till the morning.
Oh, totally.
Nighttime is not the time to hash stuff out.
Right.
And so, you know, for different people, it can be different lengths of time. But when it feels hot, it's not the time.
Yeah, no joke.
So
I'm drawn to that though. I just am.
But you're in your
God.
You're not, and you know that you're not in your
absolutely but it feels so fucking good. It really does, in a way that is like that I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I absolutely understand and relate to my life what you were saying, but I do not want to negate the fact of the mouth-watering anger that I feel in that moment. And then I just want to go for it.
And when you go for it, what happens?
It is so potent.
What happens after you go for it?
Shittiness. But also when I'm making my work, that a similar thing happens. If I wait and wait and wait, I don't get what I'm feeling onto the surface that I'm working on. So it's really interesting to know that if I
wait, you're saying if you wait, then what you feel like you need to say goes away. You don't get to, like, you don't remember it, or what do you mean?
Oh, that's really good. If I wait when I'm going, now there's two different domains. Maybe they're the same. They relate to each other. Relationship, and then relationship to creating art.
Okay.
So if I'm feeling something and feeling just whatever it is, sadness, shame, anger, it's all in the soup. Even, you know, I don't really paint so much out of happiness, but like if I go in there and I wait and I don't allow myself to express in the moment with my work, I will lose it. And sometimes I wonder if there's a lack of trust in myself that I won't be seen if I don't express myself right away.
Well, now, so I don't know. I'm no person to say it should be this way, it should be that way. I mean, I would think with art, when you're talking about creating art or screaming into a pillow or releasing energy that needs to be released, that's totally different than, I mean, to me, those are things.
They're healthy. That's healthy.
They're healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know that there would be anything to reason to wait on that. Yeah. I'm talking about when another individual's involved and you know, we're like,
I think the same thing applies. I'm not going to be seen if we don't talk about it right now. It's never going to be brought up again. I'm going to a wrong story is going to be told. I'm going to be cast as the demon, and that's from when I grew up.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's just how it was when I grew up.
Yeah,
it just was. You wait till your stepdad gets home.
You know? Well, when you've tried the waiting now.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
Okay, in regard to relationship, you're worried that you're not going to be heard. You might not be able to say or remember what needs to get let out.
It becomes about me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it is about you, but not 100%.
Right.
So, but what does happen? What actually happens? Let's talk about the reality when you wait.
Oh,
what's the research?
Parts.
What's the research that you've done when you've waited? What actually did happen?
A more heart-centered, connected conversation that has a resolution way quicker.
And when that takes place, can you take yourself in this moment back to that moment? Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you have been relegated to a reality where you've missed out on something that you were supposed to get, or do you feel whole?
definitely feel way more grounded. I feel way more connected. I mistake saying what I have to say in defense of myself for the reality of not having to defend myself. So if I'm in an argument and it's hot, I will be able to, in my mind, I'll be able to protect myself quicker. I'll be able to push the person back further, and I'll be able to encapsulate myself in this stonewalling behavior, which proved when I was a kid to protect myself, to protect me. But what I want is Gab or Mate to bring me closer, or the person I'm with to bring me closer. And that's when it feels so good to say, I'm sorry, or I understand what you're saying, and the way that that's the truth. That's me, that's me, the softness, the soft underbelly that I have. That's when the real work gets done. And that's when the connectedness that I always wanted with my mom will happen now. And I'm still very, very afraid of it. And I'm learning that I don't have to be afraid of it.
You're afraid of the true connection?
Real connection. Absolutely. That is contentment. I was talking to a friend.
Do you think it's a fear of the absence of chaos?
Yeah. Yeah. Because Tourette syndrome, growing up and all that.
Yeah.
There's a narrative of, if I don't have chaos, then what could there be? What do I have to live for and fight? And how can I stand up strong? Because if I surrender, watch out, because watch out was coming. But now if I surrender now, I'm realizing how good could my life be, and how good will it be? And I'm starting to ask myself, how good is my life, and how good could it be? And that's just different for me. It's way different, because I've always been bent toward negative thinking.
I want to challenge you here and say,
please.
I know you just said, how good is my life?
Yeah.
But I think there's this tendency when we've survived so much trauma, and then we've done work, to think about our lives and ourselves as the before me that was so fucked up,
right,
and the future me that hopefully I get to.
Yeah.
And we kind of neglect that current me that sits and celebrates and says, good God, what an amazing now that I have.
Yeah. Yeah. When I hear people saying that, I'm like, fuck you. Shut the fuck up. But I'm realizing that it's just the whole gratitude piece.
Yeah.
Because I really have some dark negative thinking a lot of times. Like part of ADHD is being addicted to negative thinking. So as soon as I start just asking myself, like, holy shit, I was just on the ground and prostrate, thanking God that that I'm alive after I finish a painting, like laying down on my studio and prostrate, the most vulnerable position you can have. Granted, I was alone, but it was like, it's the symbolic nature of that position. Just so grateful that I
honestly,
could even get through it.
I would also challenge that when you're alone and doing that, is there's a certain part of that is so much more meaningful, because if you weren't alone, I think it would be performative.
Yeah. Right.
I grew up in religious environments where that happened all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
look at how fucking holy I am. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. And so I think that we all need, on this healing journey, I think it's like we have to remind each other all the time, like of pause, hold on.
Yeah.
Like, you made it through all this shit.
Right.
You've done all this stuff to work on yourself. You're not perfect today.
Right.
And you may never get to this version where you're like, wouldn't it be cool if when I, as I'm healing and I can get to this place, sure, yeah, it's great to have goals and everything, but like fucking Ryan Rado that's sitting in front of me, before me now, that I've gotten to spend hours talking to, before today and today is an amazing human being. And I think that and I know that that's making you so uncomfortable.
I'm starting to understand what part of me wants to refute that.
Yeah.
Why do I need to refute that? Fuck that.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, fuck that. I've stayed sick because I can't accept it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right after saying all that nice stuff. Yes, absolutely. I want to ask you if you can recall a single conversation where the craving to be the fantasy cost you the connection.
Can you ask that one more time?
Can you recall a single conversation where the craving to be the fantasy cost you that connection?
Okay, hang on. I think every episode of Make It Perfect. There are times where I leave and I'm just like, God, I don't know if that was authentic. I know that.
But did it cost you the connection, as in because I know you didn't walk away from Make It Perfect.
No.
I know people that in Make It Perfect that freaking love you. You didn't lose the connection on
it's
every.
Always a trip to be in that situation.
So I'm calling your bluff, bro.
Thank you. No, that's good. That shows you how I feel a little bit about my performance on there.
Yeah.
But to be the fantasy. That's a really, really layered question. That's good. Can you read it one more time?
Of course.
Okay.
Can you recall a single conversation where that craving to be the fantasy, and I would say that's where you lean into either the way more, you go step out of reality, and it's either the more than or less than what it really is, and it costs you the connection.
Damn. God, what a question. God, that is so difficult to answer. Wow. This hasn't happened in a long time.
Maybe that question was meant to be something for you.
No, it's great. Yeah. I don't know how to answer it. Yeah. And that never happens to me. That is beautiful.
That's okay.
That's really good.
Not every question is meant to be answered
that's great.
In the moment.
I'll definitely, what I realize.
I appreciate your honesty and just being sometimes I get, I'll be in the middle of an interview and I feel so pressured that I'm just I got to reach for something.
Put something up there. Yeah.
And,
man, I really,
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Thanks. That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tourette's vocal tics on stage.
Yep.
Were they a spotlight or a saboteur?
Tourette's is funny. And when I see someone with Tourette's, I'm like, God damn. Again, Bela Dupree, I'm laughing at it on the internet. I'm seeing what she's doing. Shit is hilarious. She's owning it. I know it hurts her body. I know it's a pain in the ass. I believe I get it. It's taken me a long time to accept that some of the Tourette's I have is funny to watch sometimes. Also, it hurts my body. It rocks me some days. But on stage, it's an attractor. So I use that on stage. Mm-hmm. And when I played music, it didn't come through because it was so energized. I was focused. But when I'm doing Make It Perfect live and stuff like that, it just comes out and I just talk about it. It's fun. It's fun, you know? Because who's going to sit there? Balin, if you hear this, if you see this, you don't know me, and I love you. I really appreciate what you're doing, and I think it's wonderful. Something that's helped me, you didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you, is when you have a tic, maybe you're already doing this, ask it what it's trying to tell you. Just whatever tick comes up, the goddamn, or anything you do, take a second and ask what that tick, if it had a personality, what is it wanting to say? What is it wanting to say to you? And when I started doing that stuff, I learned that from my psychologist, Dodge. She started asking me that years ago. Like, what does that tick want to say? It satiates the movement. It satiates the anxiety. And I start to trace back the origin of these tics, and they happen way less. I don't know. Maybe that answered your question.
Yeah.
I just want to give a shout to Bailey Dupree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sexual anorexia isn't a term we hear often. How would you explain it to someone who's nodding along right now?
I don't know. I'm still learning about that. I don't know much about that. And
why are you learning about it?
Yeah. Because I'm trying to see if I've conflated being good with not consuming at all. So from what I can tell so far, and if this is not accurate, put it in the comments. Like sexual anorexia is abstaining from sexual activity for the sole purpose of being sober. I don't know. I really don't know. And I really don't know if I did that when I was Christian because of all of the reasons that you would do that when Christianity's in the mix. So I wouldn't be bad. So I wouldn't go down this road of like destroying myself, even connecting with somebody.
Yeah.
So I sound ignorant on that because I am. So I'm still learning about that.
What was the physical sensation of that shutdown on your body?
The sexual stuff? The physical sensation. It feels like a cold wind, like a really brisk, cold, forceful wind pushing me over. That's how that feels when I think of don't be intimate, don't abstain from sexual immorality, don't even look at a woman in a sexual way, don't let alone compliment someone of the opposite sex, not in a sexual way at all.
Yeah.
It feels like a cold, brisk wind that is just pushing me back and freezing me to death. It's crazy. That's how it feels.
I feel like we could do a part 1 through 3 with you. And I mean, this alone could be its own episode. And because this is a topic that is also under discussed, and there's so much shame around it. The
church stuff around that?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure. Oh,
admitting that it's even there.
Oh, yeah.
And so
it makes me real sad. It's just real sad.
But I appreciate you being honest about the fact that that is something that you've struggled with. You know, there's all these things come together like a puzzle. I don't know that that's even the best metaphor at this moment. That, like, you know, it's like, what are you healing from? Well, there's a buffet, and it's like, what day is it today? Because I don't remember what they're serving, but the buffet cycles every week. It's the same thing on Tuesday, same thing on Wednesday. Yeah. Oh man. And I think one thing that's important is that we're talking about the healing and survival. So that's where I think people start to feel seen when we talk about what you've suffered with. When we get into the healing part of it is where we're giving people hope.
Yeah.
So let's get into that. In August 2012, let's step back just a little bit. The night that you said, the night I believed, where were you and what cracked open?
Wow. I was, this again, vulnerability. Like I'm talking about God. I'm talking about my experience with God, or as I understand him, or it, and man, so interesting. I was married at the time, and I was living in Columbia, Tennessee, and I was trying to heal Tourette syndrome. They said it couldn't be done. I'm like, well, I'm tired of this. I want to be known for healing Tourette syndrome. So we moved out into the country on Mooresville Pike out there in Columbia. It was beautiful. It's like 14 acres. It was so serene. And I started doing this supplement program, and I was doing coffee enemas every day. And
did you have so much energy?
Too much. I'm not necessarily, it wasn't that good for me, but I was like, I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? But I did 5 in one day. One day, man, you want to talk about obsessive? It was not the right move. Oh. It's not the right move. That's the clip. But so I was doing this, and I was writing. I started writing a lot, and I didn't have a phone. We didn't have TV. Didn't really have anything. So I was just out there eating this farm food. I was, trying to get better, And my wife, Christine, at the time, the mother of my son Harrison, she was working in Columbia, and it was intense, So I stayed up a lot of nights because of the supplements and the caffeine and all this stuff, and I was pretty unstable out there, I felt. But I was out there with my dog Morris. He's a Great Pyrenees Lab. He's an old guy now. He's like 12, and his brother Root Beer, and we got them from a farm that we knew this farmer, and I was out on the porch, and I just started crying because I was just, it was a lot, I was like, I'm out here middle of nowhere. There's no one out here I know, and it was so wonderful too. So I started crying, and Morris came over and pushed his head into my stomach as I was crying. He came over to me, and then Root Beer came over on the side of me and put his chin on my. This is really intense to come back to this. Put his chin on my neck, and I was like, "What is happening here?" And these dogs could tell that I was hurting, and I could not even believe it. And I was petting them and just thanking them. And then I went into the yard, and I just raised my hands. I felt like I felt compelled to raise my hands. It was pitch black. And I that's the moment I was like, this goes forever. This goes forever. And then it sounds so like a cliche, but it was perfect. And I was like, it goes forever that way. And then it's almost like I was like, kind of like not pushed, but just kind of like settled down, like someone settled me down, and I dropped to my knees. And that was the moment that I believed in the idea of God for real, because I felt so small, but I didn't feel trivial. I felt cared for, held, small, surrendered, strong. And I just rolled around in the grass, and I'll never forget that moment. That was an unbelievable moment. I wish I could describe it a little better, but it was unbelievable.
I think you described it just the way it needed to be.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Discovering Jung's shadow concept. How did it remix your creative process?
I had all these thoughts about myself and all this stuff that I knew was happening in me that felt really negative and dark, and parts of me that felt I was kind of told by the church and parents to bastardize these like darker thoughts, these darker motivations of how violent and angry I felt at some people, sexuality. And then I was listening to that band Tool, and they was that song 46 and 2, and I'm like, well, this is incredible what he's saying in this song. Then I looked a little further, and I was like, oh, Carl Jung, this is his whole thing. And much to many people's chagrin, and however anybody feels about Jordan Peterson at the time, I randomly heard him talking on YouTube, and I heard him talking about that same concept. And then I clicked on it, and I was listening to him speak about exactly how I was feeling as far as the shadow is concerned, talking about Jung and all this stuff. So I think it allowed me, that's when my work changed. My work got more, my work got more like aggressive, more visceral, less happy. And I started selling less paintings, but I started selling them for way more money. And so it allowed me to let those darker parts of my personality show. And I wasn't, like I talked about the snaky part of me. Mm-hmm. Like I would have been like, no way, no, that's not me. God damn it, it is. There is parts of me that are like that. And people may be like, oh, big deal, Ryan. Oh, you're real snaky. But it's like, it was unconscious to me, you know? So that's how it helped me.
Yeah. Why velvet? Most painters dismiss it as kitsch.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's why. Because I'm just like, I love the way it looks. I think it's cool. And I had this asshole dude in Colombia, an artist down there. He's a great artist, but he's an asshole, scoff at it. And I was like, fuck you, dude. So I just did it. And I love the way it looks. There's parts of me that care what the institution thinks about it, but ultimately it looks badass. It's hard to paint on, and I like it. And that's it. That's all that matters. You know what I mean?
Does choosing a lowbrow material mirror your own messy humanity?
Yeah. And it's just like, fuck you, you know, like you know,
I love a good form of rebellion mixed with art.
Yeah, that's it. That's how it feels, you know? And I don't know. I didn't go to art school, and I don't know if I have the technical skill to paint something in a realistic way, but who gives a shit?
Exactly.
Who gives a shit?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Make It Perfect Live mashes comedy, coaching, and paint. What problem were you solving in the recovery community?
Oh, wow. Family dynamics, and being able to see what exactly happens for you, even the participants, what happens for you based on how someone else is interacting on a stage with you. And we're creating something, it's kind of an unnatural thing, but you get a double verse of vulnerability. So you get the vulnerability of painting something, regardless if you're a visual artist or not, and you get the vulnerability that the painting will disarm you, so you're able to share a little bit more clearly about what you actually think and feel without all of the scripted shit. Because Make It Perfect, like I have a loose script. Thank you. Thanks. So that's the vibe.
I love it.
Thanks.
I love it so much.
Yours is coming out very soon.
I can't wait.
It's going to be fucking great. We went
hell
for it.
Yeah.
It's good.
So getting to the service of it all, Rockwell Gallery lives in a repurposed train station. What metaphor drove that location choice?
What metaphor? I just had a show in there upstairs, and then I don't know if a metaphor.
It wasn't a metaphor?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. The owner asked me to do it, and I was like, okay, cool.
I love it.
Yeah. It's been a labor of love. I've been doing that for 9 years. Might be coming to an end. Who knows?
At a precious art roast, strangers mock the work. Why is mockery medicinal?
We just take ourselves too seriously, me included, you know? And I was mocked publicly my whole life because of something I could not contain. And I'm like, there's a catharsis in it. It's like,
indeed,
put your fucking heart on the line and see how strong it is. And this shit's funny because painting is just ridiculous.
Yeah. So ontological coaching, what you do a lot of today, blends body, emotion, and language. Walk us through a breakthrough you witnessed recently.
Yeah. I had a client that was, again, shadow stuff, was worried that they were just a horrible person. And through the ontological method, which involves the emotion, body, and language, paying attention to what is happening with the client, and being able to just kind of tune into the feeling and tune into the like being a confidential thought partner. The change that happened for this person propelled them to move to Nashville, propelled them to have a clearer look at how their relationship with their dad, simply by asking them questions of how this, just not drilling down, but softly going through the patterns that they had. And I think it turned out that the reason he felt like he was just a horrible person was a direct influence from his father. Sounds like, oh yeah, okay, cool. But to this person, I watched them change right before my eyes and become lighter, and like the light went on. And when that happens, it's just magical. Oh, yeah, it is. It's cool. I think I had that here, sitting here with you. You know what I mean?
It's
wonderful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Can you unpack the paradox of your mantra, the past is perfect? How do I stay intact with myself?
Oh, yeah. The past is perfect I got from a doctor named Larry Wilson a long time ago. And I spent a lot of time in regret, should have. I wish it wasn't this way. And the more that I spend there, the less I can be here. And so everything happens how it happens. And I'm just trying not to live fully in the regretful state of mind. So, yeah.
Heck yeah. All right. We could go on and on forever, but we don't have forever for this episode. So we're going to wrap up with a lightning round.
Yep.
You've got about 5 questions, but only one. You can only give me one word answers. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Current muse.
Oh my God. Instagram.
Color that feels like forgiveness.
Lavender.
Song for painting joy.
More Than Fine by the Indigo Girls.
City for next pop-up.
God, Brooklyn.
One hope for listeners. And this, keep it to one word.
Punctuality? I don't know.
I love that.
I don't know why punctuality.
No, it's exactly what it meant to be.
Like
it's meant to be.
Word that came up. That's
all right,
so weird.
Now, taking from that, and you don't have to speak on punctuality, but for the person or people that have connected with your story today, what would you like to leave with them as far as encouragement or hope?
See if you can ask yourself, when you have interrogating thoughts or negative thoughts about yourself, ask whose it is, because you think it's you, and maybe part of it's you, but ultimately you learned it from somewhere. And I'm doing that myself. I'm doing that for myself. Just, whose is this? Why am I holding this?
That's good. That's priceless information right there.
What the heck?
All right. Oh, this has been so good. Thank you, Ryan Rado.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it.
On for a while, yes.
And thank you to our audience. I want to remind each and every one of you that it is never too late to start loving yourself, and you're always only one decision away from a completely different life. Raw childhood chaos, roaring motor tics, and roasted velvet canvases. Ryan Rado just handed us a masterclass in turning shadow into spotlight. If you felt that resonance, tap subscribe and review so the algorithms thread Tourette's truth, trauma recovery, and velvet painting inspiration into more feeds. Tag us and Ryan in your IG stories with your biggest takeaways. We'll repost our favorites because community multiplies healing. I'm Patrick Custer, reminding you, this is your life. This is your moment. What will you do with it? Keep painting the truth, share the hope, and we'll meet you right back here on the next Rooted Recovery Stories episode. This podcast is brought to you by Promises Behavioral Health. If you or a loved one are struggling with trauma, addiction, or mental health, we are ready to answer your questions and help you take that next step. Call our admissions center at 888-648-4098 or visit us online at www.promises.com. Our team is ready and waiting to answer the call for help.